Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us today for the order bestowal ceremony for Mr. Abdullah Ibrahim. Today, the 9th of March 2021, he receives the Order of the Rising Sun, gold and silver rays of the 2020 Spring Imperial Decoration in recognition of his lifetime achievement in his contribution to Japan-South Africa friendship through his works, performances, and the profound understanding of Japanese culture and spirituality. First of all, I would like to call upon the Ambassador of Japan to the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency M.Umari, to say a few words. Ambassador, please.
Congratulations, Mr. Ibrahim. On 29th April 2020, the government of Japan announced the foreign recipient of the 2020 Spring Imperial Decorations. Mr. Abdullah Ibrahim, you are among the recipient of the decoration by His Majesty, the Emperor of Japan. You are the world-famous master of jazz piano, the most successful and respected musician in South Africa. You started your career at the age of 15 for over 70 years. Throughout your music activities in the world, you consistently fought strongly against racism and injustices. Mr. Ibrahim, you will receive the Order of the Rising Sun, gold and silver rays, in recognition of your lifetime achievement. Mr. Ibrahim, with your long-term engagement with Budo, you have been conferred full mastership from the Grand Master, Mr. Tonegawa Yukio, of the Kobujutsu Yakami-ryu Taijutsu. You are the first non-Japanese master of Yakami-ryu. Mr. Ibrahim, you have performed in many concerts in Japan. We remember the one at the Kamigamo Shrine in Kyoto. Furthermore, in Cape Town, in bridging heritage and spirituality of Japan and Africa, you performed in celebration of the centenary of the Japanese consulate in Cape Town on the Heritage Day of 24th September 2018, which was reported widely to the people of Japan. Your most recent performance in Japan was in September 2019 during the Rugby World Cup. Mr. Ibrahim, your beliefs on unity in human mind, body, and nature culminate into the Japanese concept of Satoyama. This signifies a sustainable coexistence of human being with nature. This concept symbolizes the sentiment of awe and respect towards nature, common in both Japanese and African tradition. The deep insights by you resonate with many people in Japan and have contributed to a mutual understanding between the people of Japan and the people of South Africa over the year. Mr. Abdullah Ibrahim, on behalf of His Majesty, the Emperor of Japan, I now have the honor to bestow the Order of the Rising Sun, gold and silver rays on you. Congratulations again, Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. And congratulations to Mr. Ibrahim again. Now I would like to ask Mr. Ibrahim to say a few words. Mr. Ibrahim, please.
Good morning, Ambassador Maruyama-san. Also, Honorable Mr. Naito-san. Also, Romi-san. And my colleague and fellow producer, Daryl, from Gearbox Records. Your Excellency, my sincerest gratitude for this auspicious award bestowed on me by His Excellency, the Emperor of Japan. The rising sun sheds light and warmth on our collective and individual quest and destiny. My first visit to Japan came from an invitation to play solo concerts all over Japan. Apparently, my record, African Piano, had met with a great success and enthusiasm in Japan. It was even played in discos. And it reached a crossover audience. I, of course, accepted the invitation without hesitation. I was intrigued by the resonance of the audience in Japan with my African experience. Although that relationship started with me as a young budding pianist in South Africa. In those turbulent times in South Africa, I found solace in hours of study and research in libraries and archives. The Japan cultural narrative seems so synchronized with our heritage, our concept of respect for nature, respect for people, the ancient legacies, which we are also now striving to retain and integrate into a new, unfolding, and rapidly changing world. Inspiration came and still comes from our unsung mentors and teachers in our township communities. And hours of my reading the lives of people like Miyamoto Musashi-san. Although we had limited information at that time, but the practice of karate had captured our imagination as young people. And there were some resourceful men who somehow managed to obtain some instruction in karate, and we all trained diligently, 24 hours a day for 7 days to obtain the black belt. And later, I found an English translation of Miyamoto Musashi's Goron no Sho, the Book of Five Rings, which still resonates with me today. During my travels, I trained with karate with masters in Europe and USA. And on my stay in Copenhagen, I met Tonegawa-san. who was teaching Budo at the local dojo. That meeting cemented a relationship for over 50 years and ongoing on a daily basis today. We still call each other today. A 15th generation practitioner of the art and culture, his teachings are continuously expanding my limited knowledge of Japan. But we find a synergy in my tradition. My great-grandfather, who fluently spoke all Southern African languages, and as a young man taught me the medicinal uses of plants in the Green Kalahari, a project which I am currently continuing and endorsed by Mr. Naito-san as Satayama Africa, and with Tonegawa-san, who calls the project Furusato, the home of all humanity, and especially young people. I have discovered an intriguing synergy of our concept of jazz improvisation with the Japanese creative formula of mushin, no mind, which really does not interpret this process properly. But it is that immediate expression of an experience at that moment which cannot be repeated, nor do we wish to repeat it. I also find the all-encompassing concept of ikigai most appropriate in articulating my quest for knowledge from all the masters in Japan and in Africa and elsewhere. Ikigai. What is it that you really want to do when you wake up this morning? My sincerest gratitude again. My sincerest gratitude to Tonegawa-san, to everyone helping me to expand my knowledge and synergy with Japan and share this gift that we have to share with all people in peace. Satayama Africa. Hey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. And everyone, could you kindly turn on your microphone and the camera, please? Thank you. And I'd like to ask you to give a big hand to Mr. Ibrahim. Congratulations. Thank you very much. So now it is a time for closing. Although the ceremony should have been held last year, unfortunately, it has been delayed by the difficult situation of COVID-19 over the year. So finally, we are really pleased to successfully have done it together with you. Again, I greatly appreciate all of you on behalf of Embassy of Japan for joining us today. Thank you very much.
Congratulations on your conferment of the Order of the Rising Sun, Gold and Silver Rays. I believe your jazz piano has delivered peace and joy to people in many countries. Abdullah says a person who practices the traditional Japanese culture obtains manners, courtesy, nature, and respect through sincere practice. This finding shows that he sees the unspoiled landscape of Satayama in his heart. The first time I met him was in 1968 at a dojo in Copenhagen. Together, we practice until today. Out of my 1,100 disciples worldwide, Abdullah is the only foreigner who has attained full proficiency in Bujutsu Kodosokukai. His philosophical thoughts have been purely inspiring to me in that they enabled me to reach the point where I can naturally sit on a cloud. Let us keep on exchanging thoughts on the unity of art and Budo. Bujutsu Kodo Sokukai, Representative Yakami Yukihiro, 3rd March 2021.
Dear Abdullah, my sincerest congratulations. Japan has always been in your mind and your heart. Trying to deepen your knowledge and understanding about Japanese culture, history, spirituality, Budo, language and calligraphy. Sometimes you spend a whole day researching a single Japanese word, discovering hidden treasures lost in translation. You are in continuous exchange with your star brother and teacher, Grandmaster Yukio Tonegawa's son. You share with him your knowledge, your questions, your daily discoveries, supporting each other along a common path. I sometimes ask myself when you still have time to play music. But if I understand well, your music reflects your commitment and learning process. Music is your way to express and share knowledge and passion. We are indeed very fortunate that we can listen to your music. It gives us a little insight in your continuous engagement. This might be a reason why your music resonates so deeply also in Japan. One can hear not alone your beautiful lines of notes, melodies, harmonies and rhythms, but also your involvement and understanding of the culture of this beautiful country, Japan, and far beyond. South Africa, your beloved Mother and Father Earth, and so many other countries around the world. You are a master in understanding interconnection, the thread that is holding us together, people coming from different cultures and nations, because you speak, as you well once said, to our common denominator, our humanity. You are a master of detail, not only in your music. It is this detail, this patience for detail, that opens the door to new dimensions, overcomes boundaries, and brings us together again. When we listen to your music, we are deeply touched, bringing us joy and healing. Abdullah, when you play, speak, engage, you never follow a straight line. Spiral is your mode journey. You take us on a long spiral journey, African storytelling, overcoming time and space, teaching us to listen, respect, manner, patience, sincerity, commitment, love, leading us to new questions and new answers, discovering new treasures on the way, a little closer to ourselves. Thank you for your commitment, your path, your understanding, your legacy within your music. Congratulations.
70 years ago, my great-grandfather, who was fluent in all traditional languages, taught me the medicinal properties of the herbs, the plants, and the flowers that grew abundantly in our backyard in Cape Town and beyond into our traditional homes all over southern Africa. These places were inaccessible to us because of the system of separation, but we could dream about them through the stories and narratives of our families, our elders, and our mentors. I vowed to fulfill that dream through my music. And so for 70 years, I've traveled and engaged with people and cultures all over the world. I also lived in southern African townships. In all of these travels, I was privileged to study and absorb the knowledge from the elders, especially Japan and its vibrant culture that resonates with me continuously. And also the countless people who assisted me on my journey. 25 years ago, I gained access to a farm in the Northern Cape and an old renovated church in Western Cape. It inspired me to implement the Green Kalahari project and M7. The project is in the heart of ancient tradition. For example, the Wonder Cave, 2.5 million years old settlement and rock art. The farm is also close to the SKA project, the world's largest radio telescope. It will enable scientists to study the universe in more detail than ever before. The Green Kalahari M7 project is the balance between Mother Earth, the animals, the sky, and the universe, enhanced by modern technology. The ancient ones warned us about a time when the waters would be contaminated and our relationship with nature and animals will be disrupted. Kalahari, or in the traditional word, Kgalagadi, means the place of thirst. Water from an ancient well. Water from an ancient well. The wisdom of the elders. We find solace in the serenity of the land and the stars. We are creating a living sanctuary for nurturing the skills of talented young people, the next generations, and for everyone. As a young person, I came to know a close member in our family whose name is Toasa. Toasa means an ancestral calling or light of the new moon. Toasa, ancestral calling, Green Kalahari project. We are inspired.
Good afternoon, good evening, Gombawa. His Excellency Maruyama, friends of Abdullah Ibrahim, what a great pleasure to be with all of you on the occasion of my friend, my mentor, my colleague, Abdullah Ibrahim receiving the Imperial Order of the Rising Sun. Now you can see how important culture is, that it can join Japan and Africa. For one thing, Abdullah seems to have internalized Tonegawa's son's martial arts philosophy into his own. And also the spirit of Satoyama Africa, bringing the idea of unity of human mind, body, and nature into the concept of Satoyama, and then building that into Satoyama Africa and the Green Kalahari Initiative is absolutely stunning. And this from the mind of a genius musician for whom the music of the whole world is incorporated into one individual. That's culture. Abdullah Ibrahim has received influences from everywhere in the world, and yet he chooses Satoyama Africa as the place to rebuild an enlightened ideal of a land which comprises the earliest people in the world, the Bushmen, the San, and looking into our future, into the universe. So to combine the knowledge of indigenous people with the unbelievable majesty of the universe into the minds of young people so they can work one life that incorporates the past, the present, and the future with knowledge from everywhere in the world. This is Abdullah Ibrahim's dream of a new Africa with an old Africa. How deserving is he of this incredible honor from Japan? So, as a tribute, here's some sounds that may lead us to think a little bit about that. Congratulations.
We have spent 6 mornings or afternoons exploring the life and the legacy of the great South African pianist and composer Abdullah Ibrahim.
My name is Letanka. I run creative music workshops around the world. What you're seeing is one example of a project working with primary schools. But I also work with orchestras, prison inmates and opera houses. And the most inspiring starting point for all of these projects is Abdullah Ibrahim. They put his life story into their own words, creating their own instrumental and vocal pieces, and they performed this in one of London's most prestigious concert halls. The moment I witnessed the power and the reach of this project happened in the closing moments of those children's performance in London. One of the last classes to perform wrote a piece they called Ibrahim's Legacy, and they wrote these words: "What's your vision? Your legacy. Your ambition, your legacy. What's your mission, your legacy. My decision, my legacy." The potential of this project is enormous, and Mr. Ibrahim and I have been thinking about where we take it next. We're looking for more places where we can inspire communities with projects like this. If everyone watching this today reached out to us, helped us create the path to the places we could inspire, imagine the links we could build. Imagine the legacy. The music and the story, the legacy of Abdullah Ibrahim has the power to create something profound, something transformative. And that's worth sharing, and worth sharing far and wide. What's your vision, your legacy?